you're probably looking at a Fujifilm camera, either the XPro3 or the X100v. And you've watched a lot of videos and you can see that everyone's talking positively about all of them. I've had both cameras for a couple of months. I sold the X100v, and in this video I'm going to tell you the main differences and the things that annoyed me on the X100v. So I decided to keep the XPro3, and there are probably three main reasons. Number one, ergonomics. It felt a lot better in hand. Now, the X100v is a lot smaller, maybe 10-20% smaller. Just doesn't feel right in your hand. If you're taking photos, you kind of always fiddling, and it's very much like a toy camera. It doesn't feel like a real kind of professional camera or even a hobbyist camera. Whereas this has a decent size to it. It feels good, and because of this grooves here, so this over here and this one at the front, when you hold it just like that, it feels so solid and it's perfect. So it's great. Number two, this is probably the biggest one, is the OVF/EVF. On the XPro, now because I had this first, I had the XPro3 first, I'm used to this big, beautiful OVF and the EVF. Now with the main differences, OVF, you've got the optical viewfinder and you see the framing of where you're going to take a photo, and you see those frame lines. On the X100v, those frame lines are very small. So you're looking at a big, beautiful optical viewfinder with a very small frame in the middle. So you don't really know what your photo is going to look like. It just looks so small that it's not usable. On the EVF side, using the electronic version side, so you can actually see the real image of what you are going to take. The main problem there is it's so small. The size is so small, so you can't actually see that clearly, and you basically just need to use the screen. So you've got the screen there. You gotta use the screen because realistically, it doesn't look good in any other way. So, I mean, the screen looks good, so that's at least that's something. But if you're thinking that you're gonna use the optical viewfinder or the EVF, it's not a great experience, especially compared to XPro3. Now, because I'm comparing them because they're pretty similar pricing, and that's what I think. Other thing is the camera is slower than the XPro3. X100v just feels a lot kind of glitchier, slower. So when you're taking photos, it doesn't, especially in continuous autofocus, it doesn't stick the focus perfectly every time. It just misses multiple times, especially in a street photography kind of a moving run and gun scenario. It doesn't always get the shot that you want. It just misses focus every now and then. So that's what I've noticed. The difference with XPro3 just feels a lot stickier, feels a bit more reliable, and at the end of the day, I guess more enjoyable because you know that you're gonna get the shot when you're relying on it. Another thing that I didn't really like about the X100v is the leaf shutter. It's quiet, right? It's a leaf shutter. It's very quiet. That's something that you might want, but if you're the kind of person who enjoys the clicky sound and the kind of like that thump that you get from a shutter, then you're going to like the XPro3 more. Like if I go and here, oh yeah, much thumpier. It just feels a lot better. So I got the 23 f2 on this, and to me it's not a big camera. It's pretty light, and I'm happy to make that size compromise to get something that's actually reliable, fun to use, and better because you can have multiple lenses as well. What else did I not like about the X100v? one more, I would say the joystick. So the joystick over here, when you're using the XPro3, it's very, that's the click sound, and that's going up and down. On the X100v, it felt very spongy. I was going down in the menu, and I'll get to the item that I want to click OK on, and I would press OK, but it would not stick the OK. It would still go down, or it would go up, meaning that it kept missing it just didn't know the difference between OK, I guess, and down and up, just because it felt very spongy and it didn't feel solid at all. On the XPro3, never had that issue. It's a lot higher quality. Just feels much better. It just feels right. That's pretty much it. So I guess there's not that many major things that I was not happy about, but these are the things that I think are quite important, because if you got a camera that you want to take good shots, you want to at least enjoy using the camera. If every time you use the shutter you don't enjoy it, if you're using the camera and you just can't click on the menu that you want, and the X100v is kind of like, I guess it's a classic viewfinder camera looking style, and people want to use the actual optical viewfinder or the electronic viewfinder, but if the quality is so low that you can't really use it, then what's the point? Now I'm comparing it to this because it's similar price right now as well. So this is, by itself, if you're not comparing it to anything, you'll still probably be okay. But I just think compared to the XPro3, it's a better purchase to go with the XPro3 if you are okay with a little bit of a bigger size, which also means easier to hold, and you're okay with spending a little bit more because you have to get a lens as well. But the good thing is you can get some other Fujifilm lenses like the 1855, which I've got, which is great. That's probably going to be the most honest YouTube video that you watched on these cameras. I can guarantee you that. Yeah, leave a comment if you think that I'm wrong. Leave a comment. Let's have a conversation, and we go from there. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next one.